Chilling tales for dark nights.
Want to make sure you never miss a Chilling Tales for Dark Nights video again? Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell to turn on notifications.
Something's going on with me. I feel absolutely horrible. And I think I'm dying, or I don't know, something. My body feels like it's breaking, and the inside of me feels so hot I feel like my organs are cooking. Started when I woke up yesterday and imagined this. My ass was looking down at my bed. At first I thought I'd partied a little too hard again the night before and I was still coming out of a wild trip. But when I looked down, I guess up, at my feet, there I saw the ceiling fan right by my feet. When I reached out to touch the light, I retracted from the sting of the bulb's heat. This was real. I was actually hanging down from my frickin' ceiling. I reached out, down to my bed, expecting to fall down and faceplant into the bed. Instead, I stayed stuck to the ceiling like a lizard by my feet. I tried pulling my leg from the ceiling, but it was no good. I couldn't move. What the I was cut off when I heard someone knocking on the door. "Hey, package for Mr. Porter?" shouted a voice from outside the front door. The guy sounded young. I started frantically trying to jerk my legs from the ceiling. No matter how hard I pulled and jerked, my legs weren't budging. 1 minute, I shouted. "Shit, can you just leave it on the porch?" I kinda need a signature." Crap, I thought, still trying to pry myself off the ceiling. "Okay, well, give me a minute, I'm still naked." After about 10 more minutes of this, I finally managed to get one of my legs free. Soon after, the other came loose, and I fell, face planting on the ground. I answered the door, dazed, to see this kid, maybe early 20s in a FedEx uniform. "Are you, Porter?" "Yeah, that's me." "Okay, if you could sign here." My head was aching and I felt dizzy, making my handwriting sloppy. Still, he took it and handed me the package. Thanks. You okay, sir?" "Sure," I replied before shutting the door in his face. I walked into the kitchen and set the package on the counter when I noticed that my hands were now stuck to the box. The fuck? It was like someone went and welded my hands to the actual box. Just like before, no matter how hard I tried to pull my hands apart, I couldn't separate them from the box. Eventually, my hands began sweating, causing them to unstick from the box, and I had my hands again. I felt the onset of a headache, causing the room to spin. My head felt hot, and my stomach churned with vertigo. I almost ended up falling out when I stumbled back into my bed. I was out like a busted light bulb before my head hit the pillow. I was out cold, and I felt like I'd slept for the rest of the day. When I woke up, though, I found that I'd only been asleep for a couple of hours. My stomach felt even worse than before, churning and twisting like someone was taking a whisk to my insides. When I tried to get up to bolt to the bathroom, though, you guessed it, I was stuck to the bed. I couldn't get free. And feeling as horrible as I did, I couldn't even fidget myself free. I ended up puking over the side of the bed. It burned all the way up from my stomach. It was like I was throwing up shards of glass. I immediately started panicking, though I was puking up when I saw that it was blood. Or at least what I thought was blood at first. It looked a lot thinner than blood. Like red Kool-Aid almost. Then I heard it start to sizzle, and steam with the smell of sulfur came from it on the floor. When I looked down at it, I saw that it was eating through my floor. My heart started racing. What the hell is going on? What is this? Some kind of acid? I just puked acid! Despite the utter panic running through me at 1,000 miles a second, I was too weak to move. that, and again. I was stuck to the fucking bed. Eventually, I just blacked out again from sheer nausea. When I woke up about 5 hours later, being almost 9:30 p.m., I saw that I wasn't on the bed anymore. Take a wild guess where I did wake up. That's right, the ceiling. I was upside down, attached to the ceiling by my hands and knees. I was about to start trying to jerk myself free again when something even more freaky happened. A fly was buzzing around and landed in front of where I was stuck. When I looked at it, I could see it in clear detail. I could almost count every little strand of hair on its body and see every little crevice of its skin. It was weird, but what happened next freaks me the hell out. Now, normally I'm not a fan of insects, of any kind. I'm the type of person that can't usually stand the sight of bugs without immediately trying to get rid of them. But this was different. This time, I wasn't disgusted at all. Actually, it was the complete opposite. For whatever reason, like something animalistic inside of me was taking control of my thoughts. I thought of how the fly tasted. Yes, I said it. I wanted to eat the fucking fly. I don't know why. I just did. It just stood there in front of me for a moment, twitching as it stared at me. Before it could try and take flight again, I shot out my arm with a level of reflex that I swear wasn't even humanly possible, and snagged the fly between my index finger and thumb. Just for a brief instant, I just held it like this, watching intently as if it feebly tried to wriggle out from between my fingers before, with that same preternatural reflex that seized it in the first place. I popped it into my mouth and began chewing. In the interest of keeping what little of my stomach I might still have inside me, I won't describe how it tasted. I'll say, though, that I actually enjoyed it, savoring it even, like it was a piece of steak or something. It's disgusting, but I can't help it. It was delicious. Regardless, only a second or two after doing this, my stomach started burning again, and I turned and vomited that red stuff onto the floor below me. Just like before, it started eating through the floor, almost on contact. I felt extremely weak again, but I tried pulling myself off the ceiling anyway. It was actually a lot easier to unstick myself this time, and I came crashing down to the floor again. For a while, I just lay there, confused, scared, disgusted, and feeling sicker than I ever thought possible. When I eventually did try to pick myself up again, I was stuck on the floor. Now, this was pissing me off, as it was freaking me out. What in the name of fucking God was going on? What is happening to me? This time only took about a minute or so before I was free again. When I looked at the ground, however, my heart stopped. There, where I was laying only a minute ago, was now a pelt of skin where my hands were. I looked at my palms to see that their insides were now exposed. What's worse, though, is that the insides of my palms were green and scaly, reptilian looking. Why the fuck do I have scales inside my hands? What the fuck is going on with me? I frantically grabbed my phone and dialed 911. I was waiting for the call to connect when I started feeling woozy again. The last thing I heard was a woman's voice on the other end saying,
911, what's the nature of your emergency?
Before everything went dark again. This time, I was out for a lot longer. When I woke up, it was early morning. I was perched claw-formed on the large tree branch in my neighbor's front yard. By now, confused didn't begin to describe what I was feeling at that moment. Now, aside from racking my head on what the hell was happening to my body, I was completely lost on how I kept ending up in strange places every time I blacked out. I slowly started making my way down the branch when I looked over to see my neighbor staring at me from his porch. "What the hell are you doing?" he shouted. "Oh, my son, see, he accidentally launched his frisbee in the tree and I had to get it down." Surprisingly, he seemed to buy that poor excuse for a lie. For one thing, I don't have a son. I don't even have a girlfriend, for Christ's sake. And second, I've never been good with poker faces either. Still, he just rolled his eyes and went back inside. No one else would see what's happening to me. After scurrying down the tree like I was Spider-Man, I quickly ran back into my house and locked the door. Out of paranoia, I went through the house and locked all the windows as well. I didn't know what was going on, but I was not about to have that happen again. At least now, if I blacked out again, I'd still be in my house. I started trying to think back to the night before, at the party. I remembered popping a few mollies my buddy Ronnie smuggled and not much else. You know, you gotta try this shit, man, and things sort of blurred out after that. You know how that goes, right? One minute you're solid ground, the next you're soaring through rainbows in space, and you wake up on the damn ceiling. At one point in all of that, I remember going down and dirty with this one chick whose face was green and scaly with slitted yellow eyes. Of course, I was so far out of my mind that she could have looked like a chimpanzee and I'd have still done her. In other words, I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think anything of it when she started biting me. I faintly remember feeling something inside of me changing, twisting, like I was melting from the inside. After that, I went dark and, well, you know. Thinking about that now, with what's happened, I'm starting to get a real bad feeling it wasn't just the drugs that night. Who, or maybe I should say what, this girl was, or what she wanted from me, I don't know. But I do know this. Something seriously weird is going on with me. It was just 2.5 hours ago that I'd blacked out again. I felt worse than ever when I woke up, and I was stuck facing downward on the wall. My skin felt like it was on fire, and I could see scraps of it peeling away, dangling from my arms and exposing green scaly skin underneath. I wanted to scream, but when I opened my mouth, my stomach burned as I spewed the red acid all over the floor. It took 20 minutes to pry myself off the wall, and this time, almost my entire right arm. And this time, almost my entire right arm was degloved, revealing a long, green, gangly lizard limb with gnarled, misshapen claws at the end of it. I looked in the mirror at the end of the hall. My eyes were now yellow slits, just like the girl from the party. Right now, more of my skin is blistering and peeling away, shedding like a lizard. Please, somebody, anybody. I need help. I need help. How do I fix this? I don't want to be a fucking lizard. I'm scared. It hurts so much. Oh, I'm feeling woozy again. Oh God. What's gonna happen this time? Please, somebody, help me.
Chilling tales for dark nights.